In this episode, Emperor Eastmund is going to take the Kingdom of France, Leon, and Italy into... But that is not how it went. How do we outsmart a centralised revolt which ends up raising more than twice our scattered troops? Join us as we prepare to unite Europe against our serious rival, the seemingly unstoppable Denmark, in this episode of... To make sure we don't have to run around too much, I'm first going to do a little bit of tidying up here. Unfortunately first, there's about to be a big revolt for Gavelkind succession in Ireland to split that title out from the Kingdom of England. One of the things we can do to improve our vassals' opinion of us, get on with granting these claimants these lands up in Scotland to reduce the domain size overload. First, we are going to marry them off to members of our dynasty. And here we have 2 female members of our dynasty who are willing to join. They have claims, weak claims that will not be inherited by their successor. So we don't have to worry about giving these future powerful vassals of ours claims on our titles. Now one of the key questions is which claimant, Italy or France, gets the stupid one? I think we'll double down on Italy. I have the most faith in his ability to maintain his position, so we'll give him the more capable one, matrilineal. Now, in order to get this marriage through, we are going to actually have to get this person to our personal court, rather than just being in our realm, in our wife's county. Gerard, however, we can get on with granting some of our lands. So, which tribe up in Scotland do we want to give the future King of Italy? I think we'll give him something on the western coast. Let's give him Moray. This is the heir of this princess, who has our claim on Leon and Galicia. So he will become our vassal. What we'll need is a law to stop titles passing outside of our realm, so that then when he inherits the Empire of Bulgaria, we don't lose Leon. And now that the heir to the Empire of Bulgaria is in our court, we can break his son's betrothal with this duchess, as we are the controller of the marriage, and remake it to a relative of ours from the Kent branch, who will not have any claims on the titles of England. We also now personally have Carrick, which is yet another claimant we could grant out lands to. And controlled realm inheritance, stopping those titles passed outside of our realm, is currently opposed by the 3 Glory Hounds and our 1 Pragmatist, supported by the 3 Loyalists, of course. So, we're going to have to replace one of our councillors with another Loyalist. And I'm going to go with a risky play here, replacing our Spy Master with this completely incompetent person. However, they are trusting and content, and therefore likely to be for us to be able to make them a Loyalist. Actually, we don't need to invite someone. One of our commanders here is our personal friend, so we're just going to appoint him to him. He's actually even worse than that other person, but I think having the locked-in high opinion with friend is far more reliable. It's a better bet for our Spy Master. I just got a message there that the peasants of Buchan are slowly beginning to trust our rule again, and we never should have let our treasury go negative. Of course, we have a huge war chest, but the level of mismanagement Scotland has placed on its place is a thief guild, a highways robbers band. Over here, there's a smugglers ring and a thieves guild, plus incompetent ruler, plus a highway robbers band. And yes, truly, Scotland's been doing an absolutely awful job. Now, we could actually usurp the title of Scotland. Characters automatically reject matrilineal opponents if the women are in the marriage. They're just not very important. So we are going to have to take the less comfortable play of using a matrilineal betrothal. A betrothal is worse than a marriage because it doesn't go through instantly. So in theory, you could cancel it afterwards. However, again, they're unimportant because they're not a close relative. So actually, we're going to have to go all the way up to this child. This is further dangerous because it means they are our daughter, so they are going to inherit a claim on the Kingdom of England, which means our future vassals in France will have a claim on the Kingdom of England. We're now going to grant him the landed title. We'll give France Buchan and his heir to the Bulgarian Empire, whose heir is married into our dynasty. He will inherit these lands from Leon, unless he's already the emperor, in which case they'll pass on. But either way, we'll get something into our dynasty. We're going to give him Carrick. Right, now, France and Italy are going to, when we fight them, be fully reinforced. So we're going to have 8,000 troops. They're each going to have 8,000 troops. So they're going to fight against a force double our size. However, with a tiny sprinkling of mercenaries, we'll have, say, 10,000, 11,000 troops. And as long as we can catch their armies separately, we need to rush in very quickly and just to destroy their armies and then we can go around sieging before they reinforce. We could do with alliances to secure our chances. If we go to Germany, however, the ruler is excommunicated, unfortunately. And so yes, they are facing lots of excommunication wars to depose them. So we're not going to be able to get an ally there. Could we form a pact with the Byzantine Empire? They have 18,000 troops. With that level of support, we could even declare on Lyon simultaneously, which would guarantee our effectiveness against defensive pacts. We could take all three kingdoms of these kingdoms in one huge war. However, they distinctly do not want a non-aggression pact with us. Unfortunately, there are only 5 major kingdoms on mainland Europe at this time: Germany, France, Lyon, Italy, and the Byzantine Empire. Those are the only ones with significant force. Of course, we're going to be at war with 3 of those, so they can't be good allies to us. And Germany is facing a bunch of excommunication wars, so is currently ineligible, and is itself only as strong as any one of those other kingdoms. The Byzantine Empire distinctly does not want a non-aggression pact, and certainly not an alliance with us, for political concerns. Therefore, we could look to the east at tribal lands, and they are already engaged in many wars, so wouldn't actually send us any troops, even if they joined the war. The other kingdoms are not Christian. Although Brittany, this tiny little kingdom, they only have a couple of thousand troops, but however, they are right next to France and would become directly involved in the conflict. Or Gascon. And actually, I've just noticed Duke of Gascon is the half-brother of the Kingdom of Brie. I'm wondering if there exists a marriage which would give us alliances or non-aggression pacts with both of them. That would be then significant. We could marry them off to Christina, the same age, one of our half-sisters. He will form an alliance with us. Perfect. And we can also offer a non-aggression pact with the Duke of Gascon, because again we have that marriage with his niece. We don't get an aggression pact automatically, but we can then, once we've got that aggression pact, upgrade that to an alliance with Gascon as well. Brie has called us into his defensive war. Luckily, we're only fighting the Kingdom of Paris. If this was against the kingdom, it would actually be worth declining that request, because that would get us a truce with the Kingdom of France. And our claim on France is a strong one, so we don't need to worry about if this child becomes an adult. That won't invalidate our claim. However, the only concern on our wars, in my mind, is once we've taken France and Italy, we then need some time to consolidate that power and reinforce our armies before we can go on a huge war against all of the kingdoms of Europe, who will have formed a big defensive pact against us because we're so threatening, in order to press our claims on Lyon. The reason that's concerning is that our claimant against Lyon is very elderly. As a backup plan, I'm going to give this last county to the other son of this claimant, so that if this person goes off to become the Emperor of Bulgaria, then when this person dies and her claims are inherited by a successor, hopefully they don't just pass off to him, they also pass it off to this second son. Anything we siege down in this war will already be weakened if we declare our major war shortly after. However, we currently have a penalty from our vassals for having the levies raised for our previous wars. We need to only use our personal troops in this small initial war. We are going to have to resolve this faction, the most powerful component being the Duke of Weiss. Now, he is demanding to be our spy master. He would then have a neutral opinion of us. While he is very good, and currently I definitely wouldn't make him a spy master because he hates us and therefore it's a huge threat. But if he had a neutral opinion of us, smooth that over with a little bit of money as well, that would be fairly okay. The problem is he would definitely not be a loyalist, which would destroy our winning vote share that we have at the moment. Now for Derby, I think we can he's already got a neutral opinion of us, so I think we can smooth that over with just a little bit of money. And the same for Whitwara. The Earl of Maimani, we can request that he stops blacking a plot, which he might refuse. If he does, that gives us a reason to imprison him, which would be brilliant. And for the Duchess of Gwynedd, Lots of people want her dead, so hopefully we can knock them out that way. And brilliant! Might I will not withdraw their support, so we can imprison them, forcing them into a revolt. We can then turn around where these troops are gathering. Drop these fleets for now because they're expensive. In fact, the faction is gaining support, which Wara now has a good opinion of us. However, not enough to knock them out. And this vassal has joined in with the revolting. They are the leader of our plot, so we can also attempt to imprison them. However, I'm going to wait until we have finished with this war so that we can turn our troops around on them immediately while they form up, rather than having to fight both these wars, these revolts simultaneously. This means this war in France may be lost, which will mean that our ally here is slightly less powerful. I'm also going to take this opportunity to find very good military commanders for us. Currently, a commander of Florence could be convinced to join us for a tiny amount of money, so absolutely. They are an inspiring leader and a defender, so morale defense and morale damage and extra defense. This is a very powerful leader, and those bonuses will get amplified. Their martial being high enough that it actually negates that defender negative to attack damage. And this character here is actually incredible. They're brave for morale defense. They're patient for defense. Strategist also helps defense. They're organizer, so armies are going to be able to run around fast. Which, I mean, he's going to basically facilitate the blitzkrieg. Also a heavy infantry leader. If we look at what all of those bonuses stack up to, he is incredible. Plus 78% defense. Our army is basically twice as powerful with this guy in charge. So we are absolutely going to bring him on board. We're also going to look for a siege leader. This is going to increase the rate at which we can siege down lands. Unfortunately, we can't get any of these free, including this monk, which would have been quite fun. But we can get the steward of Flanders. He's willing to just join our cart straight up. He's not very competent as a marshal, but we can just put him in charge of the armies when there's no fighting going on. He's purely good at sieges. That's the only thing he's good at. He's absolutely terrible at everything else. Now, we did just pass a law saying that titles couldn't pass outside of the realm through inheritance. However, that seems if a character in the realm dies, that law stops, and the heir is a vassal outside your realm. It stops it being passed to that person. It'll pass to someone else instead. However, if one of your vassals inherits an equal or higher tier title, so for example, Bulgaria is technically an empire, he doesn't lose that land that he had as our vassal. That title does pass outside of our realm through inheritance, when inheritance is in that direction. However, we still got a member of our dynasty betrothed to what is the heir to the Empire of Bulgaria, which means that Bulgaria will still enter our dynasty without the need for any conquest. Luckily, we have this backup in Ross, who should still inherit those claims. And this war has just gone off. Unfortunately, we weren't able to knock this person out of it in time. It's gone off just before we were about to finish this war and take care of this dissident vassal. And many of those we gave support to, they have a 37 opinion of us. They have plus 32 opinion of us. Did not work in getting them to leave the faction. They proceeded nonetheless. They also no longer have any of the opinion penalties from us being over our domain size. So I'm not sure there's much I could have done there. They do have 150% of the troops that we have. However, we will not be blackmailed. It's going to be a major bonus to our vassal opinion, plus 15, if we defeat a major revolt. So actually winning this revolt is crucial to make sure that there aren't revolts going off during these wars here, because that would be absolutely catastrophic. As it is, this is simply going to delay our ability to take France and Italy. However, the claimants we have for them are very, very young, so that's still definitely going to happen. But our priority is now going to be getting this revolt done with first, which is going to be very difficult. I will not be blackmailed. Luckily, we already have many of our armies formed up here in Ireland. I'm actually going to start moving those down here because we know this guy's about to revolt. And we can swoop it, and we can just start swooping in and clearing out some of those troops. And looking at it, they've got a lot of power, mostly from Weiss and Gwynedd here. That's where that power's really coming from. But see, not a lot of land. So the movement of our troops in this initial stage isn't going to be too impeded. So we're going to raise our battle levels. We're definitely not going to call in our allies. We need those to the major war. These troops are trapped. These are from these heavily mismanaged counties that we liberated. I'm going to have all of these troops form up in Wessex. Hopefully these 600 troops are not mad enough to suicide straight into a straight crossing. If they are, it's possible we'll lose, and they're not actually suiciding. But we need to get all of these troops out of Dorset, otherwise we've lost all of these troops. That's now 300 troops. So hopefully we can gather our troops here together quickly and then run away before these 3,000 crush in. Similarly, I'm going to get these troops here to run away into Ireland before they get smashed here. And we're going to focus on forming up our troops in Ireland, where there is very light resistance. These troops are going to be able to escape north into Ireland. We need to ensure that these ones go by the Galloway route. Yes, all of these can break around here. And in fact, I don't have a great deal of confidence that we're going to get all of these troops out. So rather than threatening losing these troops, this 1,000 troops as well, I'm actually going to send them up via the Galloway route into Ireland as well. And these troops are immediately going to be targeted, so we're just going to disband those. And we won't have access to Mercia's troops, unfortunately. And also they are going to target here. Okay, so these troops, similarly, we're going to send those up to the Galloway route. And we're just going to lower all of these troops. We're not going to be able to get these out. Maybe we can get them later on in the war as reinforcements. They're going up to Yoredale. We're going to retreat these armies back to Leicester because these troops have successfully cut. These troops up here have successfully cut these troops off. And now they're forming up all of their armies together up here. We're going to raise these troops down here, so we're going to re-raise unraised vassal levies. And see if we will be able to perform some sort of breakout. We are going to need fleets for this. In fact, places that have ships directly, I'm just going to take those troops and start going immediately over to Ireland. And then these main fleets we're going to bring down to our capital, where all of these troops are going to rally up. A big army here is going to attempt a straight crossing. Unfortunately, we weren't able to plug up this strait at Leinster quickly enough. Which is our best chance of stopping them. The straight crossing negative is huge. We're not going to be able to get all the way over to Leinster before they arrive there. Yeah, we'll start fleeing all these troops to Knockaulin. And get our ships standing out to sea, ready. I'm going to evacuate these troops on this ship before this big block of revolt comes up. So they have split their forces now into two main parts. And if we can bring all of these troops over to Ireland, then we can knock out this half. I'll get these troops down to Cornwall to start, so they can join in when we have some other ships ready to come and grab them. Now these troops are coming along pretty quick. Why are these 69 troops just retreating into their army? You could retreat in literally any other direction. We'll arrive in Dublin, we'll arrive in Kildare. All of these big armies are moving north. Okay, in which case, do not evacuate. Reinforce this battle and don't lose those troops. You drop off your troops over here. Don't boat bomb into the battle. Right, so forming up our army here, we have. Ooh, we are definitely gonna be smaller than them, unfortunately, in this battle. And these people are going to go to Knockaulin. They're locked in movement, so we can sweep round up away from them. We definitely want the maximum speed on that, which we are going to get. I'm just going to move him to the flank though. Actually, no, he's our defensive expert. Yeah, we're going to actually put this. He's only got 19 martial, but he's actually better. So we'll leave him on the centre. So we'll be able to avoid this major army for a while and fight some smaller battles. And we are going to land our boats in this friendly port here. These troops that we successfully evacuated from the mainland. And these troops, I think, are going to Kildare. Yes, so we're going to go cut into Lee. They'll probably reinforce this battle, but we have to start clearing up these troops. Brilliant. Okay, those reinforcements have now arrived. And we're going to drop our boats because boats are expensive. They are bringing their Grand Army down, so we need to engage quickly. This is a terrible battle. They are going to be able to reinforce with these troops before we've won this battle, but we do need to just start thinning them down. And they're delaying their entry. They're delaying their reinforcement. They're sending some reinforcements in. We might actually have a chance. And we are one of the main leads on our flank here. Well, a war is our focus, and we're not actually very good though. But yeah, we've got some decent bonuses there. It's a narrow flank with plus 72, so we know what we're talking about, and they like us. I was gonna say which one we're gonna go for. Our character is humble. It's not our incredible leadership. Our troops are simply becoming more confident in ourselves. We're gonna give some of the credit onto them because that's the kind of person he is. But yes, extra low reinforcements. Well, that's nice. Okay, they are now bringing their troops in. And once all of those troops arrive, they'll have about 8,000 troops. We have, however, rounded their right flank and their centre flank, so this is not a good view of battle. You can see their morale's lower and they have more troops than us. But if we actually look at this, they've only got one flank left. On the side of our two greatest commanders. And a legendary victory. The war score from that battle must be insane, yeah. 42%, Battle of Knockaulin. Totaling all of their different reinforcements. That was about 10,000. I'll put up in the edit how many troops we actually faced there and how many troops we had. That it probably said in that battle report. What a guy. What a cool guy. Also, there's a plague at the moment. That's not great. Yeah, slow fever is infesting our capital, starting to come over from Europe. We do have a couple of hospitals here, but it's not stopped it landing, at least. Even after winning that battle, they still have notably more troops than us. The first thing I'm going to do, finish off this revolt. Get one less fight going on. And good, we made another monk friend. This character can be a really friendly guy. Okay, so after the legendary battle, the legendary Battle of Knockaulin, we crossed this tiny little river with our big army that's all very happy about having to fought a big battle to knock out 200 rebels. The Battle of Westmeath. One moment I'm shouting orders, surrounded by the clanging of swords and fighting around me. Then my memory fades, and I find myself on the ground, lying in a mixture of blood and dirt, my ears ringing with pain. A soldier runs past me, but he seems to assume I am dead. Why does my head hurt? We have been stabbed in the face with a spear. So much that it's completely scrambled it's really scrambled our face up. It's not a scarred, it's not like a big spear, it's not like even like a grievous scar. There's a grievously scarred, those are things that you can get those traits, you can get grievous scars. In fact, we're already scarred, right? That's not what this has done. This has mangled his face. And we are also severely injured. Now, this guy's been wounded the entire time we've been playing him as well. So about 5 years now. They're also going down and going to get severely injured. So added up, that's a -3 health bonus. If those don't heal, this is a very unfortunate end to his military career. Well, to his life. He's still leading troops, though. I was going to say I'm going to veto that, but actually there's a plague going on in our capital, and he's got -3 health. So actually, stay over in Ireland and lead your troops. That's probably a good idea. We are going to chase down... Let's chase down this big army. We can't let the morale get up. Currently, we're going to march past each other. I'm not happy with that because then they're going to link up with these new troops down here. So actually I'm going to stop here, and presumably they will no longer charge us. If they continue to charge us, brilliant, because they're charging with half morale across a straight crossing. They're going to get minced. Oh my god, they are. And this legend, he's ready. He's just put on a new mask for his warfare. Not bothered him much. And we did get the modifier legend amongst us from his troops. The one thing that this plague is going to do is start killing off all of our very important betrothals to... This guy, for example, is our guy for France. Wow, this person with no medical training at all, there's just this old Germanic mystic that we just picked up in a field somewhere because he was said to be a cool mystical guy with cool mystical healing abilities. He's now a renowned physician because he did a great job. Turns out he doesn't have an official education, but he's got some good ideas. And finally, that old wound, shortly after us contracting this new, more severe wound, the old wound has healed over into scarring. So that's upgraded our scarring trait. We were previously wounded and scarred, so we're now upgraded to grievously scarred because we have many wounds on us. God, this is this is a really battered guy. What do you want? Gather kind succession in England. You're an idiot. But if we kill them just while their morale's really low, we're not going to kill a lot of them. They're just going to keep running away. So we'll actually let their morale reinforce at this point now. They've got low numbers. But we can request to rank up in the middle of this war in our monk society. And we've healed severely injured as well. Being wounded is the best thing that ever happened to us in terms of our healing. The most wound-mangled character at the age of 35 before the war that these episodes are supposed to be about. And unfortunately, yes, they are losing this war with Paris. But once we have France, that becomes our territory. So actually, it's kind of good for us that Paris won that. We've been sent one of the finger bones of the saint of our holy order. Authenticity subject to change. Amazing. We get a little prestige and party. Little bonus is said to come from a great saint. Saint's finger bone. Well, they just told us it was St. Benedict's finger bone. I'm not just going to have Saint's finger bone here. St. Benedict's finger bone. Treat it with the proper respect. And our eldest son, who was doing very well in his martial education, has indeed got the maximum level education. With 90 in martial and flanker, he is he's truly brilliant. Fortunately, his other traits don't support that. So he's not got things like brave, patient, adding extra bonuses on top of that. But he could do very well. Now, the Middlesexian Band, a mercenary company we founded, in the middle of this revolt asked us to send them some more troops, so I declined. They've now cut all ties with us, having accumulated great wealth at our expense. So I think we've progressed beyond sending around mercenaries for our wealth, for we shall get our wealth from Europe. Oh my god, that's brilliant. France is in revolt. Doesn't matter who wins. France is going to be super weak again. Yes! Come on, boys. So we have been delayed by having this revolt, but it's not a problem. We are going to get France. We're going to get Italy. We're going to get Lyon. It's happening. And we're going to do it with this character. He survived all of his injuries. He is going to be the true king of war. We're learning from the conquest of Alexander the Great. I'm just looking at little notes we've made while doing the battle. I did this flanking really well. Let's try out that. Really learning on the job. And one of our daughters, married to our claimant for France, is going to make a brilliant steward, it looks like. Well, that's amazing. And we're now going to change their guardian to someone who's best suited to do that for them. The Duke of Mercia is already a big fan of us, so we're not going to give it to him. Duke of Meath irredeemably hates us, we're not going to give it to him. So let's allow the Duke of Cornwall to educate them. So we'll increase their opinion of us by 10 for entrusting one of our children to them. They propose a white peace. I'm neutral, let's just forget this ever happened. You're a bit late, I'm afraid. Absolutely not. Remember, the reason it's so important that we fight this revolt is to get that realm stability as a precondition, as a stepping stone for taking these other kingdoms. Our wife has suggested that we start eating more. Well, we will then. I'm sure they know what they're talking about. And we have finally won the revolt. None of Refil's holdings are occupied by Ule. Ule? Oh, is this guy in another war, which means we can't end our war with him? Ule. So the revolt got... So some peasants are revolting against our vassals who are revolting against us. Because there is a war active claiming some of the lands of this vassal, and they have successfully occupied some of those lands, we can't finish that war because this person is unable to surrender Moray to us. So he does not have the ability to agree to surrender. Therefore, we actually need to go and fix his peasant revolt for him to be able to win the war. I've gained fat, unfortunately. Doesn't actually rely on health. But we actually need to finish off this little revolt here. Otherwise, they're going to win for us, not having done anything about them. We'll absolutely visit the monastery of one of our brethren in the society who has made a brilliant new variety of rose. Sounds cool. Of course we're going to help. We're a humble person. We're not going to say, oh, but we're above helping him clear out these beautiful roses. We're humble. We don't mind getting dirty down with the work. We are literally fought on the front lines and been injured multiple times. He doesn't mind. And we got dirty hands, not green fingers. So what? Whatever. It's what counts. Playing the character. And the Duke of Twice has fabricated a claim. That's fine. He's not going to exist for much longer. Right, we've won this war against this little man here. He revolted, so we can revoke his titles. We can also... Time to execute. We could ransom him for 10 gold. He's got great pox. It's sending him mad. It's giving him phantom pain. He's all one-eyed, man. No, look, mate, you can't revolt against us. You're gone. Yeah, that was just because he was, the title was revoked. That was a weird thing about of saying a foreign empire, which didn't exist. Okay, so which of you are we going to give these lands? And, in fact, probably the whole duchy, right? Yeah, the Duchy of Connacht we hold personally. Why does this person disapprove of us? They desire the Duchy of Connacht. Yes. They have a claimant on North Connacht. Okay. And they have a claim on the Duchy of Connacht. So they dislike us because they have claims on the stuff that we're potentially about to give them. Okay. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Fine. Grant landed title. The Duchy of Connacht, including their titles. It increases the opinion of us by 110. It'll actually increase his opinion of us by 150 because it'll undo those bonuses. So this guy's going to absolutely love us. So we got to kill these peasants off now. Can we catch them before? Oh, which is our best chance of stopping them. The straight crossing negative is huge. Oops. It's only like minus 30%. Cool. Force demands. Find out the fallout of that victory next episode. Subscribe. Like the video. You watched the whole video. You love it. Watch the recommended video as well.